Okay, great. And now I will pass it over to Norma to make our language access announcement for tonight's meeting.
Thank you. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Norma, voy a ser la intérprete para esta reunión. Si desea escuchar la reunión en español, en unos momentos verán la opción para escoger el canal en español. Muchas gracias.
Okay, great. Thank you, Norma. So folks want to navigate down to your Zoom toolbar and click the interpretation globe. You can select the language option that you want to use for tonight's meeting. And with that, I'll go ahead and get us started with roll call for attendance for today's meeting. So in order of last name, we'll get started. So Nancy Aguirre, present. Thank you. Okay. And then Luna Angulo Castro. Present. Thank you. Ianad Burrell. Okay. Marisol Cantu.
Presente.
Thank you. Lucia Costello. Okay. Sandra Castaneda. Okay. Suzanne Coffey. Present. Thank you. Michelle Gomez Garcia.
Present.
Thank you. Lisbeth Ibarra.
Present.
Thank you. Hakeem Johnson.
Here.
Thank you. Jeffrey Kilbreth. Mark is absent. Dr. Omatoso.
Present.
Thank you. Jessica Range.
Here.
Thank you. Simran Sandhu. Absent. Dave Savory.
Present.
Thank you. Heidi Swillinger. Absent. Franklin Ungo. Mark is absent. And BK White.
Present.
Okay, thank you. So that wraps up roll call for tonight. So just want to mention again that for tonight's meeting, if we end up having quorum for in time for the meeting minutes, we will use the roll call vote for that action item. And then just again, since we are in a hybrid setting, for the folks that are in person, just be mindful of any background conversations, rustling of paper, movements, phone chiming, all that kind of stuff. Because the room will pick up a lot of that sound and then it'll kind of distort the sound and experience for the virtual participants. And yeah, after that, we can go ahead and start screen sharing the slides and I will pass it back over to our facilitator, Nancy.
Yay, welcome everyone. Hello, thank you for joining us tonight. Next slide, please. Awesome. So here's our agenda. Again, once we hit quorum, we'll do minutes. If we need to send it for next meeting, we will. We have a breakout, as you all see here. We'll have a break after our first group activity. And then at the end, we will do next steps and you all can see that. So next. Thank you. So again, just so we could be a success, raise your hand, say your name before speaking, which I already did not do. Hi, I'm Nancy. Speak one at a time. Mute your microphone and avoid side conversations as much as we want to hear them. Share video. Oh yes, technology happens. Thank goodness we get here early to avoid all of that. And then of course, use the Zoom chat or hand function. Oh, perfect. Okay, looks like we have quorum. Yay, team. Let's move forward. Next slide, please. Yay. I'm not gonna call out who just joined us, but thank you for coming. action items get to be done. Okay, so we have 5 goals today, and the number 1 can happen. Yay, we have quorum. We will approve the meeting minutes. We will go over a recap of the last exercise we did, the part 1 of the prioritization exercise. Goal 3 is we will have a presentation, and also we will have guided discussion for goal 4 to figure out what we want to implement. And then we'll have another guided discussion to figure out the second thing we would like to be involved in. So a lot to do in this meeting, but it's going to be great and interactive. Next slide, please. All right. And where we are today, and I am passing this to Laura. Thank you, Laura.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. So today we are in the orange, working on developing the implementation plan through last month's meeting and the breakout exercise from that, and then also continued on the breakout exercises today. We're fully drafting that plan right now. Staff is, and we'll be getting it through a review process. We also have some actions that are in progress and started, and then we're identifying ones to add to that list for 2024 and into 2025, so that we can wrap up year 1 of implementation by October 2025 and submit the annual report to CARB that will accompany that. I think online we have Jennifer with an update from CARB too on their review process for the Path to Clean Air plan. Hand it to her.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Looks like maybe. I can't see you guys in the room. If someone could verbally say yes. Awesome. Hi, everyone. So Jen McGovern at CARB. I wanted to start off by saying last month we gave a quick update on where we were in the approval process. And I think we gave a date of September 10th, which was way off. We miscalculated that. That was our fault. Counted the calendar days incorrectly. So at this point where we are is at the public comment period. So we've sent that out for public comment. So it's posted. And I can share that in the chat. I don't know if that helps you guys, but we did email that link to you last Wednesday. So that's when it was posted. And then it will be up for public comment for 21 days. So that will end on October 9th. Once that public comment period is over, it will be sent to our executive officer for approval. And then I think we have a few days and to report back to the air district. So that's where we are in that process. I can't give you a final date on that. I'm not completely sure how many days at the end there, but the entire process will take 60 days. So we're still within that time frame. These 21 days during public comment are calendar days. So there won't be, that's including weekends. So I think that's it for our update.
Great, thank you. Laura, anything else to add? We're good? That's it? Great. All right, yay, we have quorum. So are there any, we want to approve our minutes. Are there any edits from CSC for the minutes of August 26th? I've seen none in the room. Any hands in the Zoom? No hands. Okay, I'm willing to entertain a motion for passing the minutes today. Any public, oh, sorry, any public comments? Hearing none, seeing none. Okay, I see Jessica's hand. Jessica?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the minutes from August 26th.
Excellent. Do I have a second? Dr. Amatoso.
Okay, great. So I'll go ahead and get us started with a roll call for approving the minutes from August. So Nancy Aguirre,
Yes.
Luna Angulo Castro,
Yes.
Ianad Burrell, Marisol Cantu,
Yes.
thank you. Lucia Costello, it's not here. Okay, Suzanne Coffey,
Yes.
Michelle Gomez Garcia,
Yes.
thank you. Lisbeth Ibarra.
Yes.
Thank you. Jeff Kilbreth,
Yes.
thank you. Dr. Matoso,
Yes.
thank you. Jessica Range,
Yes.
thank you. Simran Sandhu, absent. Dave Savory,
Yes.
Heidi Swillinger, also believe still absent. Okay, and then Franklin Ugo. Okay, also absent. So the motion to approve the minutes from the August meeting does pass. So I will hand it back to you, Nancy.
Great, thank you. And I will send it over to Marisol for our CSC leads ongoing updates. So,
Hi, Marisol speaking. I'll go to the next slide. Thank you, Krista. So we just wanted to quickly go over, since our last meeting, we, as co-leads have started defining unexcused and excused absences. We will be voting on this, so it'll be part of your agenda packet for October, and then we'll vote on it in October. We have sent out emails to different folks that have had missed some meetings, just to touch base with folks and let them know how we could support them. Also coming up in October, and we are looking for volunteers, is to join co-leads to review applications and interview questions and share flyers and begin recruitment for our CSC members. So I'll hold really quickly. Is there anybody interested in being part of reviewing applications? I do remember Ianad was from the last batch that was interested in helping us. Is there anybody else that wants to help us move forward? Applications and
I
recruitment.
can, Suzanne.
Thank you, Suzanne.
I can help as well, Jessica.
Beautiful. Anybody from the online virtual world? Okay. Let us know through email if you change your mind and want to be part of that, or if in any way, shape, or form, even if you're going to go to an event and you just need flyers to share about that. Also, we wanted to announce that each of our co-leads will be reaching out via email to schedule one-on-ones with all of you beautiful people on our CSC. So we have already grouped into 5. We'll just be really trying to strengthen our relationships, build community with y'all, see where we go from here, understand your interests, understand your capacity, skill set, knowledge, so that we can move implementation for our SERP forward. So you will be receiving emails from Nancy, Dr. Matoso, or myself. And there should be about 30 minutes, but if they are more, we welcome it as well. And finally, I believe our beautiful primo Kevin is in the house. Is he there somewhere? Yay. Okay, wonderful. I think I'm getting like a yes. We also wanted to thank Kevin G. Rona Hernandez for his incredible participation, his leadership, his voice, his strength, for his years of service on the Community Steering Committee. He is going to be focusing on the Community Advisory Council for the Air District as a youth member. And so we have some gifts, I believe, there. And so maybe Nancy, since you're in person, you could take over that part.
Yes. So we have some things for Kevin. So Kevin, this is from us to say thank you. We are so proud of the work that you've been doing. I personally am so honored that we have become friends, and we cannot wait to see what you do, because as a youth, you are a powerhouse, and I can just imagine how much more you're gonna be doing for monitoring and air quality. So we could give Kevin a big hand. 3 years now, oh my goodness, that's a commitment. Thank you, so back to you. Yeah. So did you want to add anything from the Zoom? You're good, okay.
I just want to say, I listened into the CAC meeting last week and you were excellent. I wanted just to share that with you.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Yay, we have an ally on the CAC, people. You still have his email. I'm like, he thinks he's leaving, but really he's not. So, Kevin, any words you would like to share with us? We're all ears.
Yeah, thank you so much for the gifts. It really means a lot to me. I've been doing this since I was like 18. So now I'm 21, so it's like kind of like surreal. Yeah, gonna be focusing on the Community Advisory Council moving forward. Some air monitoring stuff and research as well, so super looking forward to that. But you know, when talking to Sol and like other folks, I'm probably not gonna be leaving, so I'm probably gonna be more surrounded here than like the Community Advisory Council. So no, yeah, really appreciate this. Thank you for this experience. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Next slide, please. So I will take this time for any questions or discussions or quick shout outs to Kevin, if anyone else would like to do a shout out.
I have a shout out.
Go ahead,
I just
Jessica.
want to say, Kevin and I, we did coffee together when we first started virtual coffee. I don't think any of us had coffee, but I was just so impressed with you as our, one of our youth members. And so I'm really excited, like Nancy said, to see what's next in store for you. So just wanted to let you know that stuck with me this whole process.
Thank you.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Any hands on Zoom? Anyone else? No? Yay, well, thank you, everyone. What a way to end with our updates, right? We should have celebratory every end of updates, right? That doesn't mean leave, that just means something fun at the end of our updates all the time. All right, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move forward then to public comment. Any comments from the public? Don't think I saw any hands. No hands?
Gotta go.
Okay, Kevin's public announcement is he's leaving. All right. All right, with that being said, let's recap what we did the last meeting and kind of, next slide, please. And really it's just to go over. So we have started the in-progress actions last week. And these were the top 10 that rows that we're gonna be working on and with. Commercial and industrial, 4.5, fuel refining, 5.1 and 2.1. Next slide, please. Also fuel refining, 3.5. And a reminder, this is what's already in progress, so it's kind of, we're jumping in on these. Commercial and industrial, 4.4, fuel refining 2.2. Next slide, please. CNI 1.1. R is the resource path to clean air strategy, 1.2, fuel refining 4.1, and health 2.5. Next slide, please. Okay, so those were the ones that are started and we picked at the last August meeting. So ongoing and reporting, we still have 15 actions that that are ongoing and 13 actions that are part of reporting. Next slide, please. Great. Any questions so far? I kind of went through that quickly, but we kind of had discussion and the group discussion at the last meeting. Any questions or discussions for that one? I don't see any hands. I don't see any. Okay, and I don't see any in person. This is not part of the group activity. This is what we did last month. Okay, all right, next slide, please. Public comment. No, all right. So we're gonna go over blah, 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 blah. We're gonna overview the lead implementer action. So these next actions is going to lead us into our first group discussion. And this was it. We sent 2 lists. This is list 1 of the email we sent for you all for tonight. So we can get the next slide, please. And I have notes too, so we'll discuss those in our guided discussion. But pretty much that first set, let me pull this out, is 2 actions under this strategy. So this would be the one strategy, one together. Refining 1.1 and 1.2. And pretty much it's related to just transition. We can't do 1.2 without 1.1. So it's learning about just transition, how we go through it. If you read your email, you should have, it's pretty self-explanatory. Thank you to those who had made these for us to read. Next slide, please. So, and we will have a moment for you to ask questions or to get clarity on any strategies that we're talking about right now. The next one that we can choose from is Health 3.2, which is talking about employment and human services related to CalFresh, which is the nutrition SNAP, the Nutritional Assistance Program. Next slide, please. Next strategy is, there are 2 actions for one strategy, and that's mobile, 6.2 and 6.4. 6.2 is about bike and scooter share stations and putting them in areas for access for everyone. 6.4 are the funding transit operations, like, okay, we want to do this, how are we going to get that paid for? Kind of a action under this strategy. Next, thank you. And then this one, again, related to our resource implementation, our implementation strategies, 1.3 and R 1.4, which is about the budgeting planning process and making those adjustments. And then the second part of that, again, you can't have one without the other. It's the priorities, the goals, objectives towards the strategic plan for the agency, which again, they're already in process. I think they gotta vote for that soon. Next slide, please. And then the next one is urban greening, and it's education and funding opportunities, and how to create partnerships with our local nurseries, who out with CBOs, how we can get more involved in creating education, planting trees, vegetation, and look at grants and programs that are already doing this. Okay, next slide. All right, so before, I think I just want to check in before we go to guided discussion overview. Are there any quick questions for Air District staff about the strategy or any of the language, or any questions about like what that means before we go into our overview of the activity? Go ahead, Suzanne.
I just wanted a little bit of clarity on where the process of the strategic plan is. Are we done? Is it done, almost done, or getting voted on? I mean, how flexible are we to change that now? I thought we had crossed that bridge, but just clarify that, please.
Great question.
I can answer. I have it right in front of me. So the strategic plan was adopted by our board in early September. Right now, it's going through a process of being translated and printed out. And then a website is going to be created, and that's anticipated for fall 2024. But that doesn't mean that there's no opportunity to still continue to influence that. As part of the year one implementation plan for Path to Clean Air, we definitely want to identify where there are those synergies, those overlaps, and coordinate internally on strategic plan implementation and Path to Clean Air action implementation. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and making sure that things get moved forward and are communicated and collaborated internally.
Because there's significant overlap, right?
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you, Suzanne. Anyone else or any questions for Air District before we move forward? Not seeing any hands on Zoom or in the room, I will pass it to Nina.
Alright, hi everybody, thanks for being here. So we're gonna start off with part one of the guided discussion activity. We'll be looking and covering the 8 actions that are identified as CSC-led implementer/initiator actions. And our goal is to build consensus in our groups, to participate and actively listen to one another. This is really gonna help build out implementation for year one. And it's gonna be similar to last month where it's a prioritization exercise, but this time we're gonna have a guided discussion. So what we'll do in a couple minutes is split into 2 groups. We'll have a in-person group, and then we'll have a virtual group. Nancy will be facilitating the in-person space, and Dr. Amatoso, he'll be facilitating the virtual space. And our goal is to review each action, which we did, and again, please refer to your pre-reads. I have the link shared in the Zoom chat, and then I printed out hard copies for everybody who's here in the in HQE. So once we review all 8, CSC members will go through the guided discussions with their facilitator and talk about what would have the greatest impact. And through then, the goal is to build consensus as a group and select one action out of the 8 that you really want to engage more deeply within. And please remember, all 8 actions are moving in year one. Today's goal is really to understand which action means the most to the CSC, and then this is also gonna help give good information about what kind of subcommittees and ad hocs you want to see for year one as well. So let's say the in-person and virtual group have different actions they want to select for their top one. So we'll have like a tiebreaker type situation happen. So yeah, and more will be explained when we get into these discussions. So we're gonna break out into our groups now. So in-person folks, stay in Granada. And then Dr. Amatoso and I will see you virtual participants very shortly. We're going to transition now. Okay.
I mean, we.
Yeah.
Now you're on strategic.
Okay.
I don't think there needs to be 1.1 and 1.2. I'll just say 1.2.
All right, so we are back. Hello, everyone. We're back. Oh, let me put my camera on. All right. I hope you all had a robust conversation like we did. And so, I'm gonna pass it to Dr. Matoso so he can go over what you all discussed in the Zoom meeting. And then, we will share what we discussed. And hopefully we came up with one group, one grand strategy for action.
Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, in our breakout room, we talked a lot about a couple of actions. One was just transition. And then we talked about a couple of other actions that we felt we could be involved in, but we were limited in what we can actually make happen on our own without support from the county or other agencies. And so one idea that came up, actually Jeff brought up, which would actually be helpful, is looking at how we could, at some point, maybe not in year one, but going forward, create more of an advocacy subcommittee, where a lot of these things that require advocacy to other agencies and groups could be spearheaded by that subcommittee in the future to try and help us move us a little further forward with that. And so we kind of agreed that just transition would be the most important one for the subcommittee to lay the kind of foundation for a lot of the other actions we want to take and better define how we approach and do that. And that doing that in year one would be great to be able to move our implementation plan forward.
Well, that's, we did not go anywhere near that, but that's a great idea, subcommittee to talk about all the ones that we didn't pick on. So which was the top one that
Just transition.
Just transition came up for you all? So, so in that strategy, it's 1.1 and 1.2 come together as one strategy. All right, so we had a similar conversation, and we felt the same. I think anyone can jump in and tell me if we're wrong. We felt the same thing. We're going around about what's important, what's tangible, what will things look like, what actions are input. And I'm going to, we also, we didn't have 100% consensus, but Just Transition did rise to the top with the caveat that in Just Transition, we can touch all the other strategies that we can't touch right now can be touched, like, right? The urban greening, the transportation, the mobile. So we had 3-2. And then, of course, we also will have those who did not join us tonight, they will be able to give us their input so that right now it sounds like based on our in-person group and our Zoom group, we will be moving forward with fuel refining 1.1 and 1.2. So thank you everyone for your feedback, for your discussion. And I do want to say, if there is a strategy or if there was some actions that you feel really strongly about, I encourage you to go to those meetings when you see them come up, or to ask questions, or if you want to get more, aside from what we're doing as a group. If individually there's something you want to dig in deeper, please dig in deeper. We're not saying, oh, you can't do that. All we're saying is, as a huge group, as a unit, what are we gonna put these people to work for? Right? Just kidding. We love them. Thank you, staff. All right, so what's next? We have our break, right? All right, so we're gonna go to break. I think instead of 10 minutes, do we have time for 10? I think we should do 7. 7-minute break. Let's do a 7-minute break. So we can all like refresh and then be ready to tackle the next group of strategy. See you in 7 minutes. Thank you. Good.
Interesting.
You're unmuted.
Yay, unmuted. Welcome back, everyone. I don't know about you, but that break was not 7 minutes. It was way too quick. But what was exciting is we all got to continue to discuss everything that we left from. So is this the new slide? No.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Maybe not. Go back to
Need to go to slide.
this one. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started while we figure out the slides. So our next group of slides is, I know that the Zoom room was all involved and got already to the second list is our list 2. So we did list 1. List 2 is
We have the slide up.
what's next. Oh, perfect. Okay, we have the slide ready now. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that slide. All right, so one of the first strategies is CNI. I was gonna say community, but that's not right. Commercial, thank you. Commercial and industry 3.1, the restaurant white paper. As some of you may remember, white paper means like the rules that they develop towards, actually, I'm saying it all wrong. Laura, can you explain white paper again, please, the definition?
You had the right start, yeah. So
Oh,
it's the
did I go?
first-
Okay,
It's the
good.
first stage of like the rule development process, kind of doing a comprehensive analysis to see, you know, what types of approaches can we take to address this issue? Is it rule amendments? What might those kind of concepts potentially be? Are there other mechanisms, other tools that could be fit in there as well that can help move this, incentives, that type of thing? So yeah, it's that first comprehensive analysis.
Perfect, thank you so much. So, next slide, please. So that one is, about the white paper, which takes us into CNI 5.2 with the auto body shops, which is the same idea, to start initiating the white paper. And this one, it looks like it would be cross-referenced with West Oakland's strategy, for auto body. The following one is fuel refining 2.6. And this is rule development effort towards the flaring rules, 12.11 and so on, 12.12, by the end of 2024. Yeah, that's got a lot of work here ahead. Next one, thank you. And then this is one strategy holds 2 actions. Fuel refining 3.8 is our pilot legal enforcement approaches. In the plan, I think it has more detail here, but it's like, how do we start legally enforcing some of the things that we're talking about, not going on now and in our plan. And then that is coupled with the 3.9, which is the community benefits policy, which, as you know, there's already, we talked about it at over the summer, and CAC has their policy, and we have a lot of work there too. And these, you thought the last strategies were vague, these are a little bit vaguer because there are no real actions. We don't know what they look like, and they're so new. Okay, next slide. I'm calling it out, y'all. We know this is hard. Fuel refining 5.3. Health-based rules for PM, for particular matter. And then the methodologies, finalizing those methodologies. And then 5.5, which is initiate rule development for NOx emissions by the end of 2024. Next slide, please. And then marine and rail 4.1, regulate emissions reductions from cargo handling equipment. And then I think this is also in connection with what CARB has going on, their regulation. Yes, amendments to CARB's mobile cargo handling. And then next slide. Okay, so I think that's it. So again, before we go into the guided overview, any questions for Air District staff that you may need to get definitions on? I know we did the white paper definition, but is there any other questions for Air District staff about any of those strategies before we move forward? Seeing none in the room, any on Zoom? No, okay. I'm gonna pass it to Nina. There is a caveat with this discussion. If we do not come to consensus or finish discussion in time, we will move it to the October meeting so that everyone has a chance to have a voice and for us to get through all that needs to get done. So Nina, take it away. Thank you.
All right, hi everybody again. So this time we'll be looking at the not yet started actions. And our goal is to build consensus on the top action out of the 8, recognizing all 8 will still move into implementation. And again, the goal is to build understanding on what would have the greatest impact for the CSC, and looking at future subcommittees and ad hocs for year 1. So very similar format. We're going to split up into 2 groups. Nancy's facilitating the in-person space. Dr. Amatosa will be facilitating the virtual space. We'll be going through the guided discussions. And once we review all 8 actions, CSC members will align on their top action within their group. And we are adding something else to this as well. And again, it's totally okay if we don't get to all of it. So what we're gonna be doing is looking at the spectrum of public participation. And we're going to be using this to rank the level of engagement for the 7 actions that weren't selected as that top 1. I'm gonna drop the link to the public participation spectrum that you all can refer to. And I also shared this last week as well. So when we break into the activity, if we get to this, and again, if we don't, totally okay, we'll table for next month. So we'll be looking at, for the 7 actions out of this list, what do we want to be informed, consulted, or collaborate on? All right, are we ready to break out? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, we're
We're
going
born ready, Nina.
All right, y'all, we'll be breaking out. So I'll see you all in the virtual space.
Yay.
Consolidate.
Thank you. We'll be joining the bigger group in a second.
We just realized we
Come back to it
made
later. Yeah. We can
mistake.
follow up.
Can I see the slide that has the Will be, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Which slide are you looking for?
I'm looking for the one that says not yet started, 3.8 and 3.9. We need to
Okay.
clarify something.
Joey, it's slide 36. Okay, you're that.
All right, so I just want to clarify for the air district staff when we're discussing. We have two actions that are considered one strategy for fuel refining, 3.8 and 3.9. So we had those together and those rose to the top for us.
Okay,
Is that-
we'll note that down. Yeah, they're
Okay.
different actions from a larger strategy. That's why I think that's just a miscommunication.
They're separate. You all talked about 3.9, not 3.8,
Yeah.
which is the community benefits policy.
Correct.
It
So-
wasn't intentionally grouped together, except for the fact that.
So it was, okay. All right, thank you for that. Okay, thank you everyone for coming back and we will be just a couple minutes. So Nee, I have a question for your group. Dr. Matoso, did you all discuss fuel refining 3.8 separately from 3.9? Or did you?
We did it
group them
separately, we did each action separately.
So you did those two separately?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I think we talked about it separately also.
I mean, I don't remember discussing 3.9, 3.8. So that's why I'm confused, because on here it has it as two actions with one strategy. So that's fine. We can come back to that in just a few minutes. So did you all come up with a number one?
We had a very healthy discussion. Yeah, there were three that rose to the top, and then we had to kind of talk through them. The big one, I think, was fuel refining 2.6, 3.8, and 3.9. So it was very difficult to kind of come to a consensus on that. Yeah, so I mean, we had more people for the 3.9 community benefits, but also 2.6 still had a couple of votes as well. Yeah, those three strategies were very tough to really tease out, as in one being more we should start off with than the other.
All right, awesome. But your main, the one with the most was 3.9?
3.9, yeah, that was 3 out of the 5 of us.
Okay. So we, as a group here, and it sounds like we might need to move this forward into October, because we didn't finish discussing all our strategies, but, and we want to come together in consensus on whether we want to be informed, consulted, or involved in the other 7 strategies. So we will definitely move this forward for the October meeting to finish up this last set. But our group, in-person group, the fuel refining 3.9 community benefits policy rose to the top fairly quickly. We kind of already knew that one's time sensitive. That one is what's like happening in the right now. So for our group, that rose, and then we did a lot of robust conversation of how involved or informed or consulting we want to do. So we will move this forward so that we can finish up and clarify for our group 3.8. So we didn't get to talk about that one. So thank you everyone for coming prepared, for coming with your thoughts and your reasons and your whys and your passion. And I found it enlightening. Like, I love you all. You're wonderful. All right, next slide, please. Anything you want to add, Dr. Matoso?
No, we didn't get to discuss kind of what we're gonna do since we have.
Okay, perfect. Yay, team. All right, so we'll go down to second or last slide. I don't know what number slide that is. 57, 325? No. They just come, they don't stop. 44. So our next meeting, we'll discuss which one of the 3 options we have informed, consult, or involve, that we get to put the other 7 strategies for October. And so next meeting details, 'cause we are almost there. We're hitting 7:30. Look at that, we're on time. So our next meeting, October 28th, Halloweeny. 5:30 to 7:30, as you all know, here in person, 5 o'clock, there's food. And online Zoom. Next slide, please. This is a time for public comment on non-agenda matters. Anyone in person, online, Zoom? I can't see that. I'm missing something. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, I have that one. Anything else? Yes, Jessica.
I just want to give a shout out to the co-leads. These last two meetings have been extremely engaging and fun, and I've really enjoyed being in person, seeing you all. I don't know what it's like on the Zoom, but I just want to give you guys a shout out for such great meetings.
Yay. See, we are doing well. I'm kidding. Well, that's always our hope, that you all are finding it informative and like livable. I don't even know the word. Luna, go right ahead.
Yeah, I have another shout out for the Air District staff. We often tend to embed questions in a bunch of gibberish, and you always have a way of understanding what we want to know, even if we ask it in very weird ways. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, staff has been awesome, because they deal with us all the time, so. They're getting great, thank you. They're fabulous, just FYI. If Diana asks, they're fabulous, okay? Any other comments? Oh, and Dr. Wendy's here, so she can attest how fabulous they are. I think that's it. I want to pass it to Carissa for a last minute announcement.
Yeah, just wanted to let the CSC members know that if you have any hours to report, to get those into that stipend tracker by October 4th at 5 p.m. I'll be sending out some email reminders in the coming weeks to just get your hours. So yeah.
Yay. And we are done. Thank you, everyone, again. Have a great night. Great work.
Thank you, everyone.
You used to go till 9 when I was showing them. What happened?
Yeah. 8:30, 8:35.